Hey, it's Allie Edwards and welcome back to December Daily for 2020. I'm working on day 5 today and thinking about a couple different ways that I can play around with this photo. Went to dinner with friends last night and then went to dessert, and macaroons are one of my favorite desserts, and they had peppermint, which was amazing. Like, I'm literally gonna have to go back and get some more, and vanilla spice. Both of them were really good. This is from Provisions Market that's here in Eugene, Oregon, and it's fantastic. One of my favorite places to go. If you've ever come to Story Camp, you've been there because it's where we have Story Camp, or it's connected to the hotel. So what I want to do, I'm working off the back of this tag today. So remember, yesterday was day 4 with the fold out hexagon. So using the tag as my base, I printed out my photo to be large enough, and it's basically going to go right on top. I'm going to pull out the twill ribbon that I used, and I didn't staple this or do anything with it because I knew I wanted to be able to take it off. And this is going to go on top of here, and it's going to be a full page tag photo. The other thing that I wanted to do, and I actually had this idea while I was driving to dinner last night, this is how this works, is what if I made something that either pulled out from the side, was where I was thinking originally, or from the top. Like if I take an X-Acto knife, and I haven't tried this yet, I'm just kind of talking it through, and made a slit here that I could then tuck down, tuck something down in there and then pull it out. It could be additional journaling, it could be a number, it could be something. And so for those of you, we offer that got the advent calendar. We offered an advent calendar for the first time this year, and there's 12 envelopes, and each one has had some sort of embellishment in it. The last couple days have been like, I think this is the one that was actually in day 5. So chipboard, there were some of the gold plastic stars, there was chipboard in another set. There's a few other things I have around here, so it's been fun to open one of these each day. But I also love the idea that these, as the envelopes, can either go into your album itself, like I could literally just put it in here and then have my journaling inside, but I'm thinking that I may use this to pull it out, right, that it would pull up from the top. And I'm also looking at this, right, this was the tag that I had yesterday. This could also be the thing that tucks down in there, and maybe I do some combination of like a 5 and this, something that pulls up from the top. So let's play around with that idea and see where we end up. This is a great example of me not knowing exactly how things are going to go, which I'm totally fine with. And just double checking, make sure that, yeah, it should be sized just about right. Yours, depending on what album you're using, might be a different size. I did trim those tags down. Those tags were in the main kit, and I trimmed them down to fit horizontally into my 4x6 album here. And then I just cropped my photo in Photoshop. I also added just tiny little bit of text right there, peppermint and vanilla spice, to identify those two. So I want to try to think this through as I'm doing it, which is always an interesting adventure. So the slit, right, that's what I'm talking about. I was like, let's cut a slit in here that would either come from the top, right? I'm either going to cut something that's in here before I adhere it so that I can slide things down inside there, or that it would come out of the side. I kind of want it to come out of the top right here. So that's my initial thought. I'm just going to trim off the edges so we have what looks like a tag, and then I'll punch a hole also. For this kind of hole, I like to use a power punch. I have both a Crop-It-Out and a power punch. The power punch has a bigger hole, which is great especially for the page protectors. And just put that right there. So that'll be still, oh yeah, and I have these other ones here too. The holes for the actual, how it's gonna go in the album. I'm always just trying to shake it out. Okay, so now there's that, and then this will be the back side. And I didn't adhere anything yet. And again, this is the ribbon that I had to go through there. So let's think about if I wanted to, let's say I did want to have this come out the top. It might be a little bit much. with the red and the red and the red. I got a lot of things going on this year. Often when I do this project, I tend to make it a little bit simpler. This year I kind of am going all out, which is totally fine. Maybe I'll make, let's see what happens if I trim. I'm just gonna cut up this envelope because I kind of like the idea of the 5, and I could have something like this come up out of the top there. That's where it would slide out. Maybe I'll use that kind of as my guide for trimming the size, which is 2 inches. I believe these index tabs are 2 inches. So if I try to get that kind of in the middle, let's see. Experiments abound. Actually, it looks like it, well, it's longer than 2 inches because it's the edges of the tabs. So it's about 2.5 when the actual tab is on there. It's a little bit off center, but that's okay. So I'm gonna trim this because I don't need the whole thing. Just thinking if you pull it out, maybe I want it thinner though. Maybe I do make it 2 inches, then I can make it a little more even. There, the 5 is a little bit more in the middle. I can always cut off the side pieces of the thing there if I want to. I mean, the other thing is that I could use something else. Like I could use, let's put this in there. I could use ribbon off the top, but I kind of just like the idea that you can see that there's something to pull out. I'm just trying to decide how far do I want it to go. And how close do I want it to the top? Let's see if I put, okay, so this will work. So there I'm taking the paper, and if you don't have the advent calendar, obviously you could do this with just a piece of paper and a number or any sort of thing. You can see here, I'm just kind of experimenting on what actually works. And again, I'm gonna trim off the edge there, the edges of the plastic. Now on here, I can add journaling, right? This could be my journaling, that's a pull-out journaling section. I don't know how long it's gonna be yet, that's why I'm leaving that on there. So I know that I want this part to be trimmed off. So that's just making it pretty much right at 2 inches. And again, thinking, so this will need something in the inside here. Right, it's basically like that's gonna stick out. It could also be right up here on the top, but I liked the idea that it would slide down inside there. Like I don't necessarily need it to be all the way up off the top. I kind of like the idea that it was going to be within the page. And working with something that's 2 inches is good because then at least I know basically how wide it is. So let's see if I was going to do this. I think what I'm going to do is have it be like right here. I'm going to mark it with a pen because I want my slit to be wider than this. So let's just say mark with a pen right there. That's my 2 inches wide. And then I'm going to take my ruler and my X-Acto. I don't always recommend just cutting right onto your table, but I cut right onto my table sometimes. Okay, and you can see that's a little bit bigger than 2 inches right now anyway, but that's fine because I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to go beyond that. Maybe like 1/4 of an inch. Same here, just so it has some extra space. Okay, now I can see it and go back over it. So again, I'm just making a slit here that is going to allow me to slide this in, and obviously this is going to be, this is bigger. We're not going to have it be like that. But that it would live like right here. And I'll be able to stop it on the bottom. So then you can see that this is a pull out. Yeah. Pull out for day 5. Okay, I think this is gonna work. I like this idea. Something fun. All right, so I'm just gonna trim this. Probably kind of even. Let's see. Yeah. And then I could have, you know, I could have journaling on the back. I haven't decided yet. Maybe that's probably what I'll do, is do journaling on the back. This will just be able to be tucked in here. So I'll be able to see, let's see, might need to be, is it going to be too long? Maybe it's like that. I kind of have another, I mean, I kind of like the idea of having one of these little metal tags on there too. So that's something that I still could do. I gotta find those. I'm looking at it because I want to make sure that I can still adhere the whole thing down onto the tag, on the back of the tag. So I think that's what I'll do right now. I'll just do that next. Just basically, I want to go around the outside edge. And then get it as close to possible on here. Okay, so that makes it so that it's all adhered around the edge there, and then this part can go back down and then come back out. And yeah, it's not totally solid in there like it could, you know, if somebody takes it out all the way, then they're taking it out all the way. But I think that this will work. The other thing I could do is I could trim it a little bit lower, because I kind of like it when it's like sitting all the way down in there. So I think I'm going to trim a little bit more off the bottom. There. Yeah, that's it. I like it when it's sitting down in there, and then I'll have some sentiment stamped on there. All right. And there's a little bit of white to trim off along the edge, but I can do that in a minute here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to type up just a little bit of journaling to add to the back of that page there. That guy, this guy, literally, I'm just going to staple in place. The tiny attacher. Yeah, like that. I might staple it from the other side too. There we go. Okay, so that's there. I'm gonna have to deal with this little edge because that's gonna bug me. I'm gonna have super sharp scissors for this part. Okay, there we go. Now it's mainly even. Okay, so what I need to do next is write up my journaling, figure out what stamp I'm going to use on the top there. Actually, and then it'll have I'll probably do something for the back. We'll see. I also wanted to just show you, let's just see what does this look like. This may not be wide enough. But here's another example of, you know, other things that you could tuck inside there. Like if you wanted to tuck in something like this, you know, the other tag, it could easily be tucked in there too. Just something else to think about. All right, I'm gonna go type up my journaling and then I'll pop back on here and we'll see where we end up next. All right, so I went ahead and printed out, this is 3x2, or 2x3, and it should be able to fit right on the back here. The other, I mean, that just happened to be the size that this ended up being, but this is also the size of the story cards that we offer. They're 3x2, so this is another thing that you could easily just add on the back. if you wanted to do something like that, if you just wanted pattern and you didn't want to add more words, or you could add something like this, you know, the Found Joy one, and then you could write your journaling on there. I just printed it out in Photoshop. It just wanted to point out that that's another thing that you could use for that. Another thing that you can do, just as I'm sitting here looking at all my stuff, is like if you had these tags, the 3x4 tags, that's something that could slip down inside of there. Just other things to think about. Let's see, let's trim this up to the 3x2 or close enough to that. And then I'm just gonna adhere it on the back. It's very basic journaling, you know, went to dinner with friends, had dessert, thankful for my friends, you know, that's the kind of journaling that I put down, or the kind of things that I wrote down for this story. Let's see. So one of the things I think that people bring up a lot, you know, is that I don't do a lot of Christmas stuff, and I think, as you can see in mine right now, like I don't do a lot of Christmas stuff often in the beginning of December. I mean, it kind of gets a little more as we go along. So a lot of the stories that I tell in here are just stuff about what's happening in life. You know, what are things that are going on right now, and I will still have other stories to add to Project Life. You know, it doesn't discount those stories at all either. It's nice to remember that it can be holiday related, or it can be you know, just stories of what's the story of your life right now, because life still exists during the holiday season, right? Life doesn't stop because the holidays are happening. Yes, so that's what I want to say about that. Okay, let's see. I want to, a couple things. I need something to go on here, and I was thinking about a stamp, but another way that I like to approach it is with word phrase stickers, and that is one way to do it. I was going to say you could also, chipboard's probably too thick to go in there. Just kind of flipping through some of my other things here to see if I'm missing something else. The other thing you could put on there is like these things, right? The ones that were in the kit. I could actually, let's see, let's pull those out and see what's in there. I've used already in this year, I've used some of the word phrase stickers in that way. Let's pull these out and see what I have inside here that would go along with my story. I don't know, do macaroons cause peace on earth? Maybe they do. Alright, let's see what we got. Merry and bright, that might work. Right, and these are the basics. The idea here is that it would fit on top. You know, I'll just adhere it down on top of there. I thought actually looks cute. Just seeing if there were any other ones that would go along with what I'm saying. Deck the halls, probably not that one. Winter Wonderland, Noel's probably not big enough. La la la. Well, I know that Merry and Bright would work. What was my last one here? Merry Christmas. Let's see what my other choices are here. Let's see. All my things are all meshed together now. I also might add like tiny little gold stars right by each one of these. That's something I could do. Not the brads, but just like, oh, here's these ones that were in. These are in the Paisley Press kit. The little gold, like, I don't even know, what am I trying to say? Confetti. It's not really confetti. Something like that. Just tiny, you know, it's just a tiny little something that, yeah, let's use those. Alright, so one of the ones I just saw right here, I don't think it's big enough. Happy Hearted, I like that one. That one's cute, but I don't think it's not big enough to fit on here. These are the word phrase bundle, December Moments. That's kind of a good one. That could go right there. Or that could go on the back. Let's see, is that long enough? Yeah. And it can be trimmed up a little bit, which is probably what I will do here after I figure out what's going to go on the other side. Maybe Jingle All the Way. That's kind of fun. Yeah, let's do that one. Okay, it's a little bit shorter too, so I'm gonna put it on here. Give it a little more space. I'll just trim it down. All right, so December Moments will be on the other side. Will pop up for that story, or when it comes on, it'll be at the back of here, December Moments. That works good. I often use my bone folder if I need to just tuck it in a little bit farther there. All right, so that's good. I like that. I like how that turned out. I like the you know, the knowledge that you can pull it up out of there, that I have a spot for journaling. I got to try the slit thing that I wanted to try there. Let's see. All right, so the last thing that I want to do on this one then is adhere those stars. Let's see. I often use some sort of like a glue pen. Let's see if these are still, yep, they still work. So do one right there, and then we'll do one over by the peppermint. It really doesn't need that much. I probably got too much on the other one. So I love, you know, whether I'm doing 4x6 or 6x8, and 6x8 is the size that I've done for many years. I always like having full page photos. And again, the reminder that it can be as simple, I'm gonna add one more gold star. It can be as simple as your photo as the background, right? And that you could take a picture of Christmas cookies or whatever, you know, your ornaments or whatever it is that's you have. I think I'm gonna add one star onto here. It's also a good way to play around with what you have, right? Do you have one of the advent calendars? Are you using those? This is a great way to play around with that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's tuck that. I'm not gonna tuck it all the way in there because I need to take a picture of it, but let's just put it back in the album. So that is day 5. And cool, I'm happy with how that one turned out. That's a fun way. And then tomorrow I have 2x2s, and I already kind of popped, I don't know what I'm going to put in there yet, I just have some stuff in there. So tomorrow we'll be using the 2x2 pockets. Then in day 7 is supposed to be these tags with my people, pictures of my people, and then having them write down what's bringing them joy. I'm not sure my schedule is going to line up with that, so we'll see what happens. I wanted to take new pictures of them, but if they're not here, then I can't take new pictures of them, and so I'll just either use recent photos or figure out some other workaround there. It may end up working, we'll see. But again, thanks for being here, and we'll see you guys back here again tomorrow.